Hi all, ignore the mess behind me, I'm clearing up my room. But I'm going to tell you the story about when I chased my burglar with a weapon and could have been sent down for a very, very long time. For the full version of this story, or any further stories, or my old stories, click on this link below where it says Mum Life Manchester, because y'all keep asking me. Click on it, it'll say view page. Click on view page, it'll take you direct to Mum Life Manchester on Facebook. Follow it so you get the updates, and all the full versions of my videos are on there. So, enjoy. So, when I was 16, I moved out. And for about a year, or just over a year, I was sofa surfing, to and froing from my mates' houses. When I was 17, my mum helped me sign for my own flat. I was buzzing. I loved it. I was working. I was paying my own bills. I was doing my own shopping. I just wanted to live independently very quickly. So, everything was going fine. I was living my best life. I had my flat for about 6 months or something like that. And then one day, it was at the top of my street that I grew up on. So my mum was at the bottom in the cul-de-sac. I was at the top. And one day, my best mate, I could see her running down towards my mum's. She bangs on my mum's window and says, "You better get to your flat because you've been robbed." So I rushes home. And it was like 3 blocks of flats, three buildings. Mine was the second one, and if you stood outside looking at it, you had a front door, you had a window either side, left and right at the bottom, and the same at the top. If you went through the door, up the stairs, mine was the top left. So I goes upstairs with my mate. My front door was wide open. I walked in, and my bedroom was just ransacked, and I knew I'd been robbed. They took my stereo and they took all my CDs. Back then, I literally worked out and danced 6 days a week. It was my life. I had mixes from my mates who were DJs in Spain. There was stuff I couldn't get hold of, this type of music, ever again. I had about 800 CDs. They took the fucking lot. I did not care about anything at that time other than my dance and my music, and I was going to find out who robbed me, because I was getting that fucker back. Anyway, police were called. They came. They got a partial footprint on the front door. Nothing else. And then a couple of days later, I'm walking down the street and I bumped into a friend. I'm not going to mention any names on it, but I bumped into a mate. He was on his bike and he said, he was actually mates with these lads. And he said, "You've been robbed, haven't you?" I said, "How did you know?" Because at this point, no one did know apart from the law. He said, "I know the lads that did it. It was this person, this person, this person, and this person. 4 lads that I knew well. One of them I'd hung around with. He was part of our group for a lot of years." So yeah, I was pissed off. But the main lad, everybody knew him from Newton. Everyone knew him as a thief, as a scruff. Like, he'd been in and out of young offenders and everything. Everyone knew him. So I wasn't surprised. And the other lad was his cousin, and they lived around the corner from my flat. But the way it had happened that day, I'd come out of my flat at around 10 past 10 in the morning, gone to my mum's, and within a 20-minute, half an hour window, they'd gone in and robbed me and fucked off. So I knew they was watching me and watching me leave the property. I contacted the police, I had this crime number and everything. Couple of police officers that kept coming out to me, and they was amazing. Told them who it were, and they straight up knew this lad and said, yeah. They just knew it was him. They'd had so much shit with this lad, but they couldn't pinpoint, they couldn't put them at the scene of the crime. There were no evidence. There weren't enough evidence to convict. So, yeah, that was so frustrating and it really pissed me off. So, that weekend, I went and stayed at my mate's, the one who'd found my flat like that. Her mum had gone away. So we stayed at hers, and one of my other mates and my sister stayed in my flat. That night, going off their story, someone threw a stone at the bedroom window. Now, if you looked out my bedroom window, or you went outside of the door underneath my stairs, it just led on to school fields, and it was absolutely pitch black. You couldn't see, apart from just down the road, like you could see street lights from the other street, but it was pitch black. You couldn't see anything. They didn't get up and go to the window. But obviously that person was just checking that someone was in. Next minute, you heard the heavy door underneath slam shut. When you let go of it, it banged. The light flicked off outside. You could see through the glass pane in my door. And heard footsteps coming up the concrete stairs, and then my door handle being tried. So you can imagine the fear that they felt watching this, because the bedroom door was open. They were looking directly at my front door and seeing this happen. And then they fucked off again. And I'd had extra locks put on my door. So they rings me up day after. I was seething. And I thought, right, they got all they come for. They couldn't have got anything else, because they didn't really have anything else. He's coming in the night. So he's coming for me. That's what I was thinking. Right, you little bastard. You're fucking having it now. So I rush back home. So I gets home. And that night, my mate, who'd stayed over, and my cousin were like, you're not staying here on your own, we're staying with you. We had to find our own fun. I didn't have a TV because I didn't watch telly. I only had my stereo and my music, and that had all gone. So we're just joking around. My cousin goes into the kitchen, makes a sandwich. It's about 11 o'clock at night. Next minute, we hear the bottom door slam shut and the light go off. So we knew we were coming back. And I'm stood there in the living room looking diagonally through the hall at my front door, and I'm thinking, is this for fucking real? Like, the shock of it first. And then my door handle goes down, and I could see whoever it was on the other side, I knew who it was, pushing the weight against the door to try and get in. And then all of a sudden, like, the rage that came inside me was, I can't even describe. And I used to wear these massive, like, Doc Martin style boots. I picked one up, I don't even know why. But in the moment, I picked one up in the hallway. I fucking launched it at the door, screamed, you better run, because when I catch you, I can't say it on air, I'll get a ban. And then not thinking, I runs into my kitchen, grabs a you-know-what. I actually grabbed it off my cousin who was making a butty with it. And he's just like, what the fuck? I runs to the door and I'm trying to unlock these locks as fast as I can. In the meantime, I hear this running down the stairs. Then the door underneath slams shut and I ran right after him. I runs out into the field. And all I can say is I'm just glad that night I did not catch him. So he'd gone, and I'm stood there at the door like a psycho, screaming, do not come back. If you come back to my flat, I'm going to fuck you up. And he never did. He never came back. Years later, he still carried on robbing people, by the way. Years later, I had a daughter, my Alana, and we were sat in the garden at my new house. And I know he knew. I know that he knew. That I knew it was him. He walked past and he looked round and he sees it's me, and I just stared him out. And I thought, yeah, try it, mate. And he just put his head to the floor. After that, he did go down and he did a life stretch for something so disgusting and disturbing. But yeah, things could have been very different for me that day if I'd have caught him. Who knows? But you never know what you're capable of when adrenaline kicks in and you know someone, you're protecting your own type of thing.